Hi, I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac. Today we open on Central Park. Yes, Gotham City has one, and it's even called that. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Two guys drop off a huge Egyptian-looking statue in the bushes, and it rolls out onto the lawn where the people are.
Now hear this. Now hear this. It is written in the stars that on this day shall the great king of the Nile rise up from the tomb, and he shall claim his kingdom of Gotham City, and all who oppose him shall be smitten dead.
So, Gotham City has existed since the time of the pharaohs, and they even knew about it and claimed it as their own. Does Batman know this?
Giant Sphinx, uttering demented threats in Gotham Central Park in a woman's voice.
It's not a typical Sphinx. It looks more like a statue of Anubis to me. Gordon and O'Hara concluded it's a publicity stunt to advertise the new exhibit of Egyptian artifacts at the museum and dismiss it.
Yes?
Bonnie, get me my good friend millionaire Bruce Wayne. I expect he'll be at his stately residence, Wayne Manor.
Because we always have to mention that he's a millionaire and that Wayne Manor is stately. That's important, really. Bruce and Dick are just about to take Aunt Harriet to the museum to see that new exhibit. Alfred announces the call, and they can't figure out why the commissioner would be calling Bruce. Now, Gordon said that Bruce is his good friend, and sometimes good friends do call each other on the phone, but maybe Bruce doesn't know that he's Gordon's good friend, and hence he can't figure out why he's calling.
Bruce Wayne speaking.
Oh, sorry to bother you, Bruce, but you're on the board of trustees of the Gotham Museum, aren't you?
Certainly, I'm treasurer, in fact.
Well, you've gone too far, Bruce. This Sphinx which has reared itself in the park, this terrifying publicity stunt,
This what?
You mean it isn't a publicity stunt?
My dear Commissioner, I think you've taken leave of your wits. Goodbye.
When you're a millionaire who lives in a stately manor, you can talk to the police commissioner like that, especially since he's also your good friend.
So, if it's not a stunt...
Precisely, Chief O'Hara. This phenomenon takes on new dimensions, strange and sinister dimensions. In fact, there is only one man alive who can take its measure.
If it's not a harmless publicity stunt, they're not even going to try and figure out what else it might be. As far as we know, they haven't even gone out and looked at it yet. Why does the city pay these guys again? The only job they seem to be good at is calling Batman. Gordon's secretary Bonnie can do that.
I'll summon him, son.
Nobody notices that Bruce Wayne and Batman have the same butler either.
Yes, Commissioner?
A strange and terrible threat to Gotham City. An ultimatum from the remote past.
Ultimatum indeed. And he still hasn't even gone out there to look at it.
We're on our way.
Holy hieroglyphics. This might mean a battle royal.
Where are they getting this stuff? Do they already know something about this whatever it is?
Not the first tick, nor the last. To the bat pulse.
And I like how, even though they've done the bat poles 100 times, they have to have those labels up there to tell them what the poles are and which one is whose. Or maybe those are there for the day when Aunt Harriet finally finds the hidden switch.
There's no doubt at all. We're faced with that arch criminal, King Tut.
So they've dealt with a dead pharaoh before?
Gosh, and everyone thought he died in that warehouse fire.
We were mistaken, it seems. He's risen like a phoenix from the ashes to... Just what was his threat, Commissioner?
They haven't even told him that part yet, and he only just thought to ask. I got nothing.
Grandiose Batman. He claimed Gotham City for his own.
In a greedy female voice.
So, our mad pharaoh has found himself a Nefertiti, some hapless female entrapped in a life of crime.
Crime is supposed to be for males. Females don't do that stuff unless they're deluded and led astray, because everyone knows they don't think for themselves.
We could call out the National Guard. Have them blast that pagan Sphinx with their artillery.
No, Chief O'Hara, no.
No?
No.
No?
If that were our objective, I could do it more simply with the Batmobile's Batbeam.
Batman's right. King Tut may be a super crook, but he's a sick man, too.
Precisely, Robin. Let's not forget, that he was once an eminent professor at Yale University.
And this has what to do with whether or not this thing is dangerous?
Then he was struck on the head during a student riot and awoke with a strange double delusion that Gotham City is the reincarnation of ancient Thebes, and he himself, the pharaoh known to history as King Tut.
He's not in a mental hospital because... And now that we've had the exposition dump, what do we do about that thing in the park?
What could it be?
A mad dream to make subjects of us all.
But why tip us off? Why warn us that he's trying to make a comeback?
Maybe the Sphinx will give us a clue.
What a marvelous idea! I nominate Robin for the new police commissioner. He's the first one of this bunch to think of actually going out there and looking at the blasted thing.
Meanwhile, in the palace of King Tut, bizarre remnant of last year's Gotham City exposition.
If it's a remnant of last year's exposition, then it shouldn't be too hard to locate. Tut tells his subjects, both of them, that phase 1 of his plan is done and phase 2 is starting. Any questions?
I got one.
You may speak, Royal Scrivener.
Like why? I mean, why dip that hunk of rock in the park to tip off the suckers what we're gonna do?
You're a twit.
Well, at least he knows his audience.
It's merely a sovereign subterfuge to exterminate a winged rodent once and for all. Batman.
Of course it is, because it's always about killing Batman. Because Batman caught him last time or something.
He should be biting at the bait about now.
Batman biting at the bait about now. Batman biting at the bait about now. Hey, that's fun. You should try it. Batman biting at the bait about now. 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 Batman.
Oh, boy. All hail to King Tut, great faun of Thebes, nemesis of the Nile. Thank you, Grand Vizier, thank you. It was delightfully spoken.
They head off to make sure their Sphinx does the job. Batman and Robin are looking it over when it makes another announcement.
Now hear this. Now hear this. Whosoever transgresses upon the sacred Sphinx shall be smitten down by Anubis, the jackal god, guardian of the cemeteries. And that goes double for Batman.
Does that mean it'll kill Batman twice or what? Batman and Robin say, challenge accepted, and hop onto the statue. Good thing that generic outfit blends in with everybody else so she's not conspicuous.
What do you think, Batman? Could it be full of King Tut's henchmen?
If it is, there must be a secret entrance somewhere.
Look here.
There's got to be a way out of this place. Oh, if I can just figure out what it is, if I can just find it. They guess that it might be booby-trapped and play it safe.
Holy whiskers! That was a close shave.
You were several feet away and several feet below it. That doesn't qualify as close. That was Tut's big plan to eliminate Batman? Lame! Nefertiti uses a mirror and Morse code to report that the dynamic duo escaped. Tut goes ballistic and tells his henchmen to get ready for action. Just then, Batman and Robin spot Nefertiti walking through the park.
Halt, you deluded creature!
We've got you. Escape is impossible.
They stand there, watch her unwrap it and throw it on the ground. It doesn't occur to him to, I don't know, grab her, put the cuffs on her instead of talking. But of course you only do that to criminals, not to deluded creatures. A bunch of henchmen come out behind them and we have a fight scene. What was that? Batman and Robin pummel these guys for a while and then the bad guys run away. Batman says don't follow, that's what they want.
An old game to draw us away from their real target.
Of course. The Egyptian exhibit at the museum.
Right, the museum, where Bruce Wayne will deal them a small surprise.
At the museum, Bruce is showing reporters and others the exhibit.
I propose now to offer to you the pièce de résistance, the mummified remains of... All we know about this particular gentleman is that he was a king in the 14th dynasty and reigned in 1500 BC.
You have my permission to name him Irving.
Now, if my arithmetic is correct, that would mean that he's been dead approximately 3,500 years. And I believe it's safe to state that this particular pharaoh fellow will not rise again.
If you didn't see that coming, turn in your bat boots. Well, he didn't rise. They call an ambulance. Bruce decides to go to the hospital with Tut and the ambulance guys.
Hey, he's coming too.
I rather expected he would. He may want to tell us something.
What do you think he's saying? Shh. Maybe this'll help.
Shh.
What was the point of that? He was lying there on his front when he fell out for who knows how long. Several people were kneeling over him, and nobody noticed it has a zipper? This episode is losing me quick. And again, what's the point of all this? They gag Bruce, put him on the stretcher, and take off while Tut heads out a different way. At his lair, he's having trouble with his queen.
Nefertiti, you abandoned wench. How many times must I tell you queens consume nectar and ambrosia, not hot dogs?
So I get hungry, living on nothing but figs and dates and pomegranates. You want a bite?
Ah, unclean.
If I made every joke that popped into my head just now about how King Tut is afraid of wieners, we'd be here all day. So never mind. He picks up a phone and tells the henchman running it to connect him to the Sphinx in the park.
Instruct the royal charioteer to my palace with haste.
Home, Toots, and step on it.
Pretty much the same thing he said. He gets on the horn and announces that he has kidnapped Bruce Wayne and he'll be held until all of Tut's demands are met. Those demands will be announced by this thing later on. He has a special warning for Batman.
Remember, Batman, Bruce Wayne's life is in your hand.
I have a feeling Bruce Wayne is okay with that. Bruce wakes up in the back of the ambulance while Robin learns about the kidnapping from Commissioner Gordon. He has an interesting time explaining why he can't put Batman on the phone. At least we know there's no chance of Gordon putting two and two together.
You've heard the calamitous news, Master Robin?
Yes. Does that Harry know?
On the 3 o'clock news. I'm afraid she's badly shaken. And I must admit, it's left me a bit shaken too. Is there nothing to be done?
Don't lose heart, Alfred. Batman is, well, Batman.
And all this time I thought he was Adam West.
He'll get a message to us somehow.
Yep, so when he do, I reckon I ought to turn on this here radio, you think? The ambulance starts screeching around a bunch of hairpin turns on a nice long hill. Bruce is getting thrown around in the back, but it gives him an idea. Well, that certainly puts him in a safer situation, especially since he has the maneuverability of a toboggan. He keeps craning his neck, trying to figure out what to do when he sees a potential problem.
Holy cliffhanger!
Cliffhanger, and he's headed toward a 300-foot drop. I don't get it.
What will be his fate? How can he possibly be saved this time? Be in front of your bat sets tomorrow night. Same time, same channel. One hint, the most horrendous is yet to come.
They learn that the gurney isn't insured. Or does that mean the jokes are going to get worse? I have trouble accepting King Tut. His backstory doesn't really hold up, because even if he's this super arch criminal now, in the beginning he was a university professor. I almost went that route myself, and I can tell you, there's no money in it. So where did he get the money to hire henchmen and fanning girls and all that, build all that elaborate equipment? And where has he been? In exile at Karnak? Because supposedly he and Batman have tangled before and Batman won. Was he in prison? Then why didn't he get treatment for his delusion? I'm used to plot holes in these storylines because we're just having fun, and nothing in the rulebook says we have to make sense all the time. But this character is just one big plot hole. Now, if he'd only recently suffered that bonk on the head and this was the first time we'd encountered him because he stole a bunch of money or something, a lot of things would make more sense because that would be how he built his gold truck and all that other nonsense. But here we're thrown a fully formed character and told, we saw him before, you didn't. And that's supposed to be good enough. When I was 13, it was. I'm not 13 anymore, and I don't buy it. Let's see if part 2 helps. Until next time, I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac. They guessed that it might be booby-trapped and... Booby? They guessed that it might be booby-trapped and... They guessed that... Good grief. They guessed that it might be booby-trapped and play it safe. Grab her? Start putting cuffs on her instead of talking? Good grief. Alrighty then, I heard you the first time.